Hello, Sherry. That's me, Muhammad, as you previously know. Right now, I'm gonna record exercise part 2 in the American accent course in order to give you the chance to assess me concerning the A and the A sound. I'm gonna begin with Tom and John Foster were brothers who fought a lot and would rarely stop. John was called Tom an awful rotten brat, and Tom was called John a monster. To be honest, their father couldn't stand their fighting and often wished he had daughters instead of sons. The boys had lost their mom when they were small and Ron, Tom and John's father, wondered what he was doing wrong as a parent. One August morning, Tom and John started in with their awful fighting when a coffee pot fell off a tall shelf and hit John on the head. When John did not move, Tom began to stomp around him. When he still did not move, Tom threw water on John. When nothing happened, Tom began to think that something was really wrong with John. Tom wanted to get his father, but Ron was already gone. Tom was about to call 911. John started to talk. "Tom, what happened?" he asked. "Oh, John," said Tom, "I thought I had lost you just like we did Mom. I promised to be a better brother to you." When Ron came home, he found an awesome change in John and Tom, and they honestly did not fight again for a long time. That's the first story. The second one is the A. Alan Tanner's dad was visiting from Alaska, where he lived in a cabin year-round except for the month of January. Even January, Albert Tanner's Alan's dad would travel to Alabama to see his family. He was absolutely ecstatic to see his grandkids this year. He had been planning to take his family to Los Angeles. Since Alan only had a Volkswagen, he had to rent a van. On Saturday, after the last grandkid had pulled into the van, they fastened their seat belts and happily headed down the avenue when Alan almost ran over a cat. He swerved and hit an advertisement that read Stanley's famous ham sandwiches. The accident wasn't that bad because Alan hadn't been driving that fast, but a man standing at a newsstand ran over to see what had happened. "What is the matter?" he asked. Alan answered that they were traveling to California, that his family was fine, and that there was no damage to the van, but he said that the man who owned Stanley's famous ham sandwiches was going to be mad because there was a tear in the ad, But luckily the man he was chatting with happened to be Stanley himself. He smiled at the family and said, "I plan to take the ad down this afternoon anyway, so just relax and have a fantastic time in California." Alan, Albert, and their family were glad to hear that, and once again they happily headed towards California in their van. And they mixed exercise between a and a, like that. Am I right? This is the story of two siblings named Paul and Anne. Anne was the eldest daughter of the family, while Paul was her younger brother by about 4 years, like many brothers and sisters. Paul and Anne had their differences. For example, Paul liked to knock a ball around with his baseball bat. On the other hand, Anne preferred to stay indoors and read or go out and shop. Paul and Anne normally got along well enough until it was time to watch TV. Anne liked to watch a cartoon called The Dolls, while Paul enjoyed action and adventure shows. The problem was that Paul and Anne's mother would only allow them to watch TV in the living room. To make matters worse, the shows they liked to watch were on during the same time slot. One day, Paul got so frustrated during TV time that he threw the remote control at Anne and ran out crying. Anne was quite a bit older than Paul, and she was worried a lot about what he might do next. Anne ran out as well in order to find the younger brother, Paul. Anne took stock of the situation and thought about where Paul might go next. Meanwhile, Paul had reached the outside of the local toy shop. The selfish Anne, selfish Anne, I should slap her, Paul thought to himself as he entered the toy shop. Suddenly, a strange man poked Paul from the back. "What's wrong, son? Here, do not cry and have a lollipop." Paul took one look at the man and he was frozen in shock. The man looked terrifying with beady eyes and scruffy hair that looked like a mop. That was when Anne's voice was heard from the top of the shop. "Stop it, Paul. Don't take that lollipop." This started the strange man, who left the shop with a skip and a hop. Paul saw Anne and he ran to his sister while knocking over some boxes. "Anne, you came for me even though I wanted to slap you." "Of course I did, Paul. You are my only brother and I'm not about to give you up to some guy giving out strange lollipops," said Anne, as he picked Paul up. "But what is this about giving me a slap? It's nothing, Anne. Can we go home, please? I just want to take a nice long nap." Long nap. That's it. Right now I'm gonna record the assessment or the helping material that you sent me via email in order to promote the a and ah sound. First I'm gonna talk about Tom Foster and his father John. Tom hadn't seen his father John in an awfully long time. Tom had moved from Montana to Boston 8 years ago last August. John had chronic health problems and wanted to take a trip to his long-lost hometown in Colorado Springs. So Tom's mom called and had an honest talk with him about his father. She thought it would be awesome if they got together for some father-son bonding on a car trip. Tom agreed to fly to Montana, rent a car, and stop by his parents' house to hang out with his mom, brother Todd, and sister Tanya for a day or two before the trip. The Fosters had a barbecue where they ate hot dogs and argued good-naturedly over politics. The next morning they all got up and down and took a walk to a nearby park with a waterfall. Toad's dog Rocky began chasing a frog and wandered off and got lost. Luckily, Tanya found the dog on top of a fallen log. After he was found, the comical little dog hopped happily around for his human audience. The Foster family walked home, drank hot chocolate, and talked about Tom and John's upcoming trip to Colorado Springs. And finally I came through to the A sound. That is Allison and Hannah Madison. Allison and Hannah Madison. Allison and Hannah Madison are happy 8-year-old twins from Anaheim, California. Their grandmother Natalie thinks they are fabulous except for their ghastly table manners. Sadly, their voracious appetite and bad eating habits horrify her. First of all, Allison loudly slurps soda from a can. The girls would prefer to eat fast food out of a bag than have a nice meal at home. Neither girl places a napkin on her lap during a meal. They bang and clang silverware on their plates. As a matter of fact, they have no idea how to use utensils properly. They get their parents angry when they laugh and chatter while chewing food. Allison and Hannah pass trays of food right in front of people's faces. Their eating habits and table manners are really getting out of hand. Natalie recently saw an advertisement in a magazine that attracted her attention. A local school is continuing to offer etiquette classes that began this past January. They are designed for children who are an embarrassment to their families when they eat out in public. Natalie thought the lessons would be valuable and had a chat with her daughter Sharon that afternoon. Sharon and her husband Sam were in agreement that the classes would be a fabulous place to start. Allison and Hannah even accepted the idea that some advice on manners would be practical. The girls actually had a good attitude about this new adventure. Natalie signed the contract and the girls planned to start classes next Saturday. Natalie, Sharon, and Sam cannot wait to take the girls out for a fancy dinner once they have mastered classy manners. Thanks for your time. I hope I make too much progress concerning those difficult sounds, concerning English vowel sounds. Thanks for your time. Hope you're fine. Bye.